So there are many milestones in the life of a VR surgeon, and the diabetic surgery and the retinopathy of prematurity are probably the ones which take a longer time to go on. The indications for vitrectomy are basically non-clearing vitreous hemorrhages, TRDs or combined RDs, one-eyed patients with macular hemorrhages, macular distortion, macular edema with vitreomacular traction, or anterior hyaloid proliferations. So the goal in PDR surgery is basically first to clear the media opacity. Important in patients where we get recurrent vitreous hemorrhage and gives us an idea about the sclerotomy sites, whether there is a fibrovascular proliferation or an anterior hyaloid fibrovascular proliferation. It's important to know the pathoanatomy, where there is a point attachment of posterior hyaloid, a dense attachment which is broad attachment, or there are multiple focal attachments of the hyaloid causing the traction. Here we don't use suction to induce PVT, and we have to do a complete 360-degree truncation of the bone. That is, make a nick in the posterior hyaloid and then continue 360 degrees so that we don't cause any traction, anteroposterior traction on the fibrovascular proliferation. It's again important first to clear your sclerotomy sites well so that you can further do dissection. It's important again to recognize vitreous chiasis and second membranes. These are shiny taut membrane much beyond the fibrovascular proliferation, which have to be visualized, and then only we get the plane of the dissection. Some important tips could be when we are trying to suck the blood through the fluid needle, it's not getting sucked because there is a membrane. It's difficult to visualize the peripheral limit of the second membrane. Sometimes a spatula or a nanoscraper may be useful. Patients where there is no posterior vitreous detachment and there is a taut posterior hyaloid, again, instead of using suction, it's better to give a nick with the MVR blade in the posterior hyaloid and then continue the dissection with the scissors and the cutter. Coming to the membrane dissection, we can use segmentation, that is, dissection of the fibrovascular proliferation into small pieces and then cutting it with the vitreous cutter. Here you can see a scissor segmentation where the vertical scissors are used. We have to insert the scissors in between the nail attachments of the fibrovascular proliferation so that we are not making any retinal breaks. And then divide it into smaller pieces which can be easily cut through the cutter. The dissection can be from the periphery to anterior or from center to the periphery. Another modality is delamination, where we go underneath the fibrovascular proliferation, identify each epicenter, cut it with the scissors and remove the membrane in toto. Here you can see there is a combined retinal detachment. Using curved scissors, we are going under the proliferation, trying to identify the epicenters and making bold cuts, so as the whole proliferation can be removed and later cut by the cutter. Another technique could be bimanual dissection, where we fit a chandelier and then holding the edge of the vitreous, we can use both the hand and use the forceps for the dissection. These are mostly patients, young patients, where we have taut posterior hyaloid as well as taut attachments of the vitreous. Later FG and laser can be done. Patients where there is attached retina and the fibrovascular prolif is more fibrous, we can even use the forceps or the scissor to pick it up and peel the membrane. But it's not advisable for patients where there is more vascularity and ischemic retina, or where there is a combined detachment. Some patients, the adhesions are very taut, and after we have dissected the proliferation, it's still very difficult to detach this hard fibrovascular proliferation from the retina, and we have to do localized retinotomy to relieve the traction and to settle the retina. Like you can see here, we are using scissors. To relieve this traction, there is a retinotomy, and after that fluid gas exchange and laser is done. Laser is another difficult problem because of chronic tractional detachment. It's difficult to get the laser marks, it's difficult to even do a complete fluid gas exchange. Okay. Here we can use selected cases endocryo to the edge of the prick. It's important that we do good debulking of the vitreous before we proceed to the membrane surgery. The movement should be more controlled. The The magnification should be higher when we are dealing with these membranes, and we should be defining epicenters before using the scissors. With the advanced techniques, with the new cutters coming, it's very easy now to go near the retina and do a carpet rolling of the fibrovascular proliferation. This patient is following bevacizumab. So you can see the ease of the dissection. The cutter is used for segmentation, as well as now we are cauterizing the small oozes. After segmenting, the cutter is used to remove all the proliferation, and this is after fluid gas exchange. You can see the florid vascularity, and here we can use the bevacizumab, but you can see post-op following bevacizumab, still the large vessels persist. It's only the smaller vessels which get affected. This is a surgery following intravitreal bevacizumab. You can see the proliferation has become so fibrous and it's easily coming in the cutter. This is a carpet rolling technique where we are using the cutter to roll the polyp, and the polyp is on its own coming to the cutter. Bleeding is quite less in this patient. And laser can be done. So the most commonly complication what we follow is the bleeding. And intraoperatively, some small bleeders may spontaneously cease. We may increase the intraocular pressure. We may use FGE. We may even use viscoelastics to reduce this bleeding. Sometimes diathermy or endolaser can be used. People have also described the infusion of thrombin, aminocaproic acid. And anyways, the pre-op anti-VEGF is again a very good tool in our hand. Another indication of vitrectomy in diabetes is the diabetic macular edema, which will not respond to intravitreal injections, and there is a taut posterior hyaloid either causing traction. So the role is basically to relieve the macular traction, to resolve the macular detachment, and basically to remove the toxic substances from the pre-retinal space. It allows increased oxygenation. Here there is a video where you can see spatula is used to remove the epiretinal membrane. Triamcinolone is injected to stain the ILM, and the ILM is being peeled in a diabetic patient. Be cautious in removing this ILM, as it may deroot sometimes the cyst. So use minimal force and don't try to peel through the macula. This is another patient where there is a diabetic macular edema with vitreoretinal adhesions and tractions, where there is a plaque of exudates at the macula. After making a retinotomy, these plaques are removed. And retina is attached. So we can do a sharp dissection even with a knife spatula which is available, and we can dissect the proliferation. Sometimes viscoelastics may help to dissect these proliferations and to identify these epicenters. Scissors delamination, it is definitely required for firm attachment. We may not be pulling the proliferation all the time. It's better we don't allow large clots to form, because that is the time when we finally find to have iatrogenic breaks. These blood clots, they tend to follow the same structural adhesions like the membranes, the same epicenters, and it's better to start from the attached retina and then come to the detached retina by peeling. Thank you so much for the attention.